Welcome to Wednesday, Secular Soapbox Day here on Skeptic Haven Network. I'm Mike Wiseman. I'm your host today. My co-host today, or my guest today, is going to be Captain Dadpool. We're going to talk about heaven, what the Bible says about it, what Christians say about it, and why do they wear seatbelts? Let's start the show. Captain Dadpool, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Well. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Pardon the background noise. The boys are going to bed.
There must be children in your background there.
There's 4 of them. I have a whole living room back here.
Is that where the Dadpool comes from?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about hell. We're going to start about what the Bible says about it. Go ahead and give us a brief introduction here.
Of me or heaven?
Both.
So heaven is this place, right? Most people know me by now, Captain Dadpool, most well known on TikTok as the atheist with a degree in biblical theology. I was a diehard Christian for 15 years, deconstructed after college, and now I'm here. I started making educational content on TikTok, and yeah, life happens. So here we are.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. It's about as useful a degree as underwater basket weaving, I guess. I feel like that would be more useful. At least I can make baskets.
That would be helpful. Waterproof ones, maybe.
Although now I make Christians very angry, and that is a fun time sometimes. Yeah,
it's my favorite pastime. So yeah, you do your show, you do all that awesomeness. Tell us a little bit about heaven, though. Well, what do you think about it? What is it to you?
Yeah, so heaven was obviously the place where Christians think they're going to go because they're favored by God and Jesus and all that. But originally, what the Bible teaches about hell is very different from what Christians believe about it. Originally, heaven wasn't really a thing, especially in ancient Judaism. There's the kingdom of God that God is going to, the new heaven or the new earth, New Jerusalem is going to be on earth. It's a fleshly place. You have a body. Yes, it's eternal. It lasts forever. You can't die, but it's here on earth. It's not up in the clouds. The heaven that people think of up in the clouds is more known as like the divine realm where God and the angels and his servants dwell. But eventually the ideas started to mesh and Christians started to think, oh, well, we're going to go up there. It was originally, the belief was not you were going to go to heaven as soon as you died. The belief was everybody would go to a place called Gehenna.
Purgatory.
Or in the Purgatory kind of came later and kind of came out of an idea partially from the Book of Enoch. And in the Old Testament,
like a purgatory.
Kind of, yeah. And in the afterlife in the Old Testament is called the Valley of the Shadow of Hinnom. And it's just translates to the grave. Everybody goes there, good, evil, and everything in between. Everyone goes and stays in the ground. Basically, you're dead. You're asleep. Paul actually makes references to this when a lot of his followers.
Yeah. Good night, kid.
When his followers come to Paul and are like, what about those of us who have already fallen asleep? What's going to happen? Because that was the belief in ancient Judaism. But then on the day of judgment, the day when Daniel says the Son of Man is going to come up on the clouds, he's going to swipe up everybody.
In total darkness, by the way.
Yeah, total darkness.
How are you going to see him? I mean, there's not going to be light, but he's coming down the cloud. We'll just have to have faith, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that's when the day of judgment, and everybody who has died forever is now going to be judged. And if your name is in the Lamb's Book of Life, you will get to enter into God's new kingdom. There's some different views about what happens in between Judgment Day and the coming of the New Jerusalem. Some people believe it's supposed to be instant. Some people think there's like some time in between, and that's sort of where like kind of the idea of purgatory started to happen. So like one of the most popular books in ancient Judaism that is not in the Bible, I'm sure you've heard of, is the Book of Enoch. And Enoch it's a 2nd century BCE book, and it has some kind of ideas about punishment in the afterlife. It describes the grave as it has like more details about it. It says there's 4 pits. Some people go there just when they die. Some people go there and they're tortured for a certain amount of time, or they're purged based on because the belief was if you were a bad person, you would get punished while you're here on Earth. So if you died and you weren't punished enough for how evil you were, you would be punished more until you were purged, and then you could go to heaven.
Kind of like a purgatory.
Purgatory, exactly.
There you
go. What the word means.
Oh no, shit! It's a real thing. Purgatory.
Yeah, well, that's the word purg. Comes from purge. I'm pretty sure.
I thought I came up with that. That's okay. Go ahead.
No, just anyway. But so the way the idea of heaven developed came out of persecution that the Jews were receiving in the Old Testament. Their homeland would be conquered by the Assyrians, the Canaanites, whatever, even though really they were conquering the Canaanites. Whole nother thing. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a whole other story.
Their homeland was conquered. They were exiled by King Nebuchadnezzar, and then eventually they were exiled. They've been worshiping God their entire life, their entire family history, generation after generation. They've been following God's law, doing everything they thought they were supposed to. Lo and behold, they're being punished. Why are they being the ones about? Their enemies are supposed to be the one that are being punished by God, but they're being punished. So what gives? So the idea was, we're going to get rewarded in the afterlife, and they're going to get punished in the afterlife. So that's sort of where that started. And then that continued on in the New Testament. Jesus makes the same references.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm babbling. If there's anything,
no, you're good. You're good. So that's awesome. I love the history about it. That's amazing. I didn't know half that shit. That's pretty cool. Like the 4 graves. Like that's nuts. I want to learn more about that. That sounds fun. Well, we'll talk about hell next week and the punishments and whatnot. That's gonna be a fun one.
I'm trying not to divert.
Yeah, I know you got a lot to say on it.
Those two can merge together
easily, very easily. So next, what does the Bible say about it? Like 1 Peter 2:16 and Revelation 22:3-5 kind of refers to us as we're going to be slaves. Well, the Christians, I guess, are going to be slaves to God in heaven. Holy cow. Yeah. Slaves to God for eternity. This is his ultimate plan.
Yeah, I don't think that meant like they were going to be doing manual labor, scrubbing his toilets and having. I don't think that's God's what that.
Toilet. Holy shit!
But when Paul says he's a slave to Christ, it's the same. It's a more spiritual meaning. Like you don't have any other choice, not because you don't have the choice, but because you are incapable of making any other choice. Because serving God is so amazing. Why would you do anything else? So that's what they kind of meant by slave. Yeah. So when you go to heaven, that's what you're going to do. You're going to be a slave to worship of God for all eternity, which sounds boring as fuck to me. But hey, Christians really like that idea for some reason, and I don't get it.
That was always never a selling point for me. I remember hearing that. Oh, you're going to worship God all day long. Praise and worship was like the also very boring part of church.
Yeah, I mean, like for the hour we did it every Sunday. I'm like, God.
Whole hour? Oh, I think we were only half an hour, and it was just you have to stand up and clap, and if you don't stand up and clap, your mom's on the stage and she's pointing at you, singing through her teeth. Yeah, that's how I grew up, anyways. I can't imagine. Well, speaking of praise and worshiping Him forever, there's actual creatures that He made to just praise and worship Him all day long. That eyeball flying monster is one of them.
Yeah,
all day long.
That's an orphanim. It's described in Ezekiel as like it's 3 interlocking rings with eyes all around them. So there's a seraphim, the cherubim, and the orphanim. Or it's an orphan. One of those. But yeah, that's a whole other goddamn.
Yeah, well, these creatures, do they have eyeballs on their toes? I gotta know. Are there eyeballs on their toes?
I don't know. I don't remember it being described as having eyeballs and toes, does it?
Each of 4 living creatures has 6 wings, and they were completely covered in eyeballs all around, even under its wings, day and night. They would never stop singing, "Holy, holy, holy." God, could you imagine day and night singing, "Holy, holy, holy"? Please give me a new song. Anything but the same song.
And in church, they always described it like they try to make it sound better by saying, That's just how great God is. Like, you're gonna get there, and He's so amazing, you guys. You're gonna want to worship Him for all
day, every day.
It's gonna be your favorite shit to do ever, because He's so great.
Your new favorite channel, God channel. Try and change it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. The same with the light. There's always
the
light.
glory of God is just so amazing. You're gonna want to worship Him for all eternity. So, man, I think I'd rather eat like Texas Roadhouse blooming onions for all eternity. That sounds like a good time. I think I can do that.
What would you rather do for eternity than worship Yahweh? That's a good one. All right, what would you rather do than worship Yahweh for eternity? Blooming onions, that's a good one. Man, I'd rather eat Texas Roadkill. Holy cow. I don't know. That's just the same song over and over, the same guy who documented child killer. Who wants to worship that guy anyways?
Yeah. Why is he so great? He sounds like a bumbling idiot.
Have you seen the world he created?
He keeps fucking up in the Old Testament. He's like, shit, I got to kill everybody and start over. God damn it. This whole place over here, Sodom and Gomorrah, they're doing weird shit. I got to kill all of them now.
Even the kids. Fuck it.
Even the kids.
They all deserve to die, apparently. Terrible. Yeah. What a terrible guy. So heaven, tacky heaven. Is there the description of heaven and heaven? There it is. Revelation 21, 11 through 21. Man. Okay, so what if you don't like gold?
Yeah, what if you're allergic to gold? Yeah. What if you have a nickel allergy? You're gonna go to heaven and break out in hives for all eternity? Fuck that.
No way. Doesn't sound like a fun place, man. So biblical descriptions of heaven. What's your favorite one? Yeah.
Like, what if you're lactose intolerant? What if you have a nickel allergy and you're lactose intolerant? Heaven would be hell to you.
Yeah.
Heaven would be no fun at all.
Not even remotely.
Anyway.
What's your favorite Bible verse that describes heaven? Like, what's your favorite description of heaven?
It's not in the Bible. There's a book called The Passion of Perpetua. Perpetua? Yes, The Passion of Perpetua. The date's argued, but it's probably about the 2nd century. It's a Latin text, and allegedly is written by a martyr, Perpetua. But there's a lot of debates, and most scholars, I think, now are leaning towards it. She didn't actually write it, or maybe she wrote a portion of it, and she was killed. Anyway, she was in prison. Nevertheless, it is somewhere between the 2nd and 3rd century. So it's like our earliest work of Christian fan fiction. So she claims that she has a vision of heaven in a dream. And so she writes it down, and her vision is, she sees see if I remember this right. She sees a ladder that goes all the way up to heaven, but it's very, very skinny. There's only one person can go up at a time because of the verse. The way to heaven is narrow and few find it. Wow. Well, along the ladder, the ladder going all the way up, along the ladder, there's like swords and spears and hooks, all like dangling from the ladder and around the ladder. Because the idea was, if you're not paying attention to every little step you make, you're not going to make it, because again, narrows the way, few are going to make it. And at the bottom of the ladder, there's the dragon, the serpent dragon, that's supposed to be the devil. He'll devour you if you fall. So your fall, get cut up on the way down into tiny pieces and eaten by a dragon. So be careful climbing that ladder. And then she gets up there and she sees a garden, of course, big garden, and there's it's a man with a gray beard and gray hair, and he's a shepherd, so a figure of Jesus, but I don't think she actually calls him Jesus. But obviously that was. He's milking a goat when she sees him. Right, so he goes like, this isn't what it looks like. No, he's milking a goat, and he hands her some milk for her to drink. And so the idea is, milk is what newborns are given. As soon as they're born, they're given milk, usually from a sheep or a goat. So the idea was you are reborn into heaven, and you drink it, and then you're reborn, and you're in heaven.
Hmm.
So I thought that was a pretty unique and creative way to describe heaven that they don't talk about in church.
I've never heard that. Yeah, that's definitely unique.
Yeah, it's a good one. Passion of Perpetua.
Passion of Perpetua.
Yeah.
Man, I think the most recent one I heard was that kid who went to heaven and then he turned out he lied about it.
Which one was that? There's like 1 million of those back in the early 2000s.
This kid had a book deal and everything. He was at Target. I remember recently. I don't remember his damn name though. But holy cow, was that funny? Yeah, it turns out, he was just lying. Whole book deal and everything. What do you with the book now? I mean,
shocker. We put on my shock face.
Put a disclaimer on there. This is fake news, just so you know.
Yeah.
There is no heaven. This kid never went there.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with the new heaven? So why is he going to get rid of the old heaven and start a new heaven? Is there anywhere discusses that?
I mean, I can't say why God does anything.
Yeah.
His ways are not my ways. I try not to lean on my own understanding because that's what the Bible says. No, I think that's just God. That's God's way of delivering his people from the earth. So he creates a new heaven for him and everyone else to dwell. He creates a new earth, a new Jerusalem for his people.
His favorite city.
Yeah. And there the Messiah is supposed to reign there forever, or a Messiah, and he's going to the wars are going to end. He's going to unite the tribes, and they're going to learn about God and farm for all eternity. That's where the verse they'll beat their plowshares into pruning hooks and their swords into gardening hoes or something. So they're going to be doing agriculture and learning about God for the rest of eternity.
Fun.
Yeah.
Man, these Christians, they got to work on their approach here. Their heaven doesn't sound like any fun.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason is like biblically heaven is boring as fuck, and they know that. So like later Christian literature, like the Passion of Perpetua, they try to like come up with their own ideas, even going up to Dante Alighieri, who wrote Paradiso, and he made heaven sound like this wonderful, amazing paradise. But that's not what the Bible said. The Bible doesn't say anything about that.
No.
Yeah, he says there's milk and honey and all that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about okay, so you got the Old Testament laws where these are supposed to be holy, righteous, perfect, and good. And Yahweh says, don't eat pork, don't eat shrimp. So does that mean in heaven, these perfect laws are in place and that nobody gets to eat pork or shrimp?
Yeah. Like, is there free will in heaven?
Oh, there's the big one.
Yeah.
Hit on the nose.
Yeah. Which according to Christian theology, yes, because
mythology.
They believe Satan. Yeah, theology, mythology. Kind of goes together. Because in Job, no, not in Job, but Christians believe that Satan betrayed God because he wanted to be like God. So he betrayed him. Like, okay, so Satan has free will and he sinned when he was in heaven. Do it?
He was in heaven. The perfect place where you're not supposed to be able to sin. And then Ephesians 6:12, the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why is there evil in the heavenely realms?
Why is there evil in heaven? That's weird.
Holy cow, Christians.
Shouldn't God have done something about that?
Well, shouldn't he have done something about a lot of things? Well, Satan for one. Oh, man. Why would you create? And that's a whole nother topic right there. But, no. So, I mean, you got all these buffets. I hear Christians talk about buffets in heaven. Yeah, but there's no pork or shrimp. Where's my pork option?
What's the point?
I want bacon, man.
Yeah. You can't have heaven without bacon or shrimp.
No.
It's not real.
You'd have to change me.
Yeah.
And
what if you're vegan? You're gonna go to heaven and be like, are you more moral than God at that point? If God is telling you feast, my child, and you go, no, I don't want to eat that.
Do you have any bread?
Yeah. Is this tofu?
Is this plant-based?
Were they
Oh,
they
no.
at least
Oh.
killed painlessly? No, they were in a lot of pain when they were killed to make this.
Definitely.
So,
Oh.
the pain makes it more flavorful. So you better enjoy it, or they suffer for nothing. Wow, God's a dick.
He really
This is not what I imagined heaven would be like.
Oh, those buffets, though, man. I'm very curious. Oh, gosh. Whew. Yeah, food in heaven, shuffleboard in heaven. Is there video games in heaven? Probably not. They're too violent. Oh, you know what? It's probably that Noah's Ark game. Do you remember that original Nintendo game, Noah's Ark? We had to collect all the animals and take them to the Ark. And
Was there a Nintendo game?
Oh, I played it constantly. I wasn't allowed to play a lot of stuff. But yeah, that was so much fun as a kid. Yep. Save the animals, put them in the Ark. God kills everybody else. It's a great game.
I did not know that. Maybe that's the meat that he serves in heaven. All the animals that he killed, like he put them all in a freezer, and is just parsing them out, like giving people rations.
How could you be Noah and watch all these kids drown? Like, just seriously, how could you sit
watching
on top
children's bodies float around?
Thud. Well, that sounded like a teenager. Thud. Well, that's a fat kid. Thud.
They're clogging up the rudder. God.
So horrible. God, the Bible sucks.
And then he's like, man, God is good.
Yeah, isn't he such a great guy?
It's someone to awesome push those bodies away. They're starting to smell. Like they're blood staining the boat. Like,
did you pack the oars? Yeah. Enough about Noah. Back to heaven. A golden cage is my next little note here. Holy cow. Matthew 6:20 describes thieves can't get in. So it's like a cage for people not to get in, but I really think it's a cage for people not to get out.
It could.
Because how boring would that be after a while? Just let me out. Nope. There's angels and gates.
I'm sure they would argue you would never want to get out. It's so it's so cool in there. They have bacon, maybe.
Plant-based bacon. Maybe. Turkey bacon. That's probably it is. Oh God. Turkey bacon.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Sorry, Christians.
It's not the same.
It's not. It tastes weird. The texture is different.
The texture is really different.
Yeah. No bueno. So what do Christians say about it? What do Christians believe about their own heaven? What are some of the craziest things you've heard?
So I forget what verse it is, but Jesus says, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. The funny thing is the Greek word there, it's not mansions, it's rooms. There are many rooms. So you don't get a mansion, fucker. You get a room. You get a loft.
It's like the Hilton.
You got it. You live in a duplex with some guy named Jerry. You know, like you don't get a mansion. You get a room.
That's fantastic.
Who was that? Who was it that sang? Come and go with me to my Father's house. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So we're gonna
terrible song.
We're gonna play football. Like I'm trying to think of some of the crazy ideas.
Man, the children. Oh man, children go to heaven. That's one of the craziest ideas I've heard. Because I talk to Christians a lot.
Oh, like automatically?
Yeah. I ask about the flood. Oh, he drowned them. They went right to heaven.
Yeah.
So why are you against abortion?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Wouldn't that be a good thing? The kid doesn't have to suffer through life.
There have been many accounts of mothers murdering their children for that reason. Because they believed, and they were psychotic, they believed that their children would go straight to heaven. So they didn't want them to get old enough to sin and go to hell. So in their view, they were doing a service to their children by murdering them.
Yeah.
So they can go to heaven sooner. Like,
that's why the Bible needs a warning on it.
Yeah, they have this idea about the age of accountability where like you automatically go to heaven up until you reach a certain age of understanding. That verse is largely not supported, but the verse they used to justify it is Jeremiah chapter 8. Yes. No, Isaiah 8. Not Jeremiah, Isaiah 8. where there's a child that's born by a prophecy, and it says that by the time he is old enough to know right and wrong, by the time he is old enough to know right from wrong, these things will pass. So that's the verse they use to justify that. Otherwise, the whole age of accountability thing, it's not biblical.
No, it's so weird. I mean, a lot of stuff they believe isn't biblical. They just take it, twist it around and make it sound how they want.
Yeah, and then you hear other preachers who say children, that children are evil the day they're born. Like, look at how misbehaved they are. Like they say, like, imagine your child acting the way they are as an 18-year-old. Like, they would be arrested. They would be thrown in jail for the way they act. So they deserve hell. They're born evil. Like,
wow.
Some dumb shit.
I had a guest once tell me that my kid deserved hell. That conversation didn't go very well.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of threw me off.
I wouldn't react to that either.
It was just kind of sudden. Yeah, no, definitely threw up the whole conversation. Pissed me right off. No, there you are.
There we go.
Yep. Yeah, no. Terrible thing. And we're born evil. Yeah, I've heard that all my life. We're born evil. And that, and then there's some people that believe, you're baptized and then you're fine. Just once you accept Christ, then you're fine no matter what you do. There's so many different crazy thoughts about it.
Once saved, always saved, and
just making shit up at that point.
And predestination, like the Calvinists, just all kinds of shit. That's not in the Bible. And any verse you find in the Bible to support one thing, you'll find another verse that says the complete opposite.
Oh yeah.
Like one of my favorite examples of that is the Council of Nicaea was held to debate the nature of Christ's divinity, right? Well, people who thought that Jesus was God, and then the Arian party was, or the party of Arius, believed that Jesus was subservient to God. Both sides used the Book of John to defend their position. Like, they both quoted scriptures from the Book of John to say, this is why Jesus is God. This is why Jesus is God's servant. It's like, you can make the Bible say whatever you want it to say.
You really can. Yeah. Did the
Anyway,
idea of heaven as we know it get introduced to control the masses from rebelling over wealth inequality?
No, I wouldn't say that. That's more true for hell. But we'll save that one for next week. Like I said earlier, it was more a means to of comfort. Any apocalyptic literature you read, be it Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Daniel, Revelation, they're all written at a time where they are being persecuted. Revelation was written shortly after the reign of Emperor Nero. Nero lit Christians on fire to illuminate his gardens. Like, he was a bad dude. He was not nice to Christians.
That's some shit.
He was so bad, they were afraid that he was going to return as the Antichrist, just like Jesus is going to return again. They thought he was going to return first, and Jesus would come.
That's the 666 thing, right?
Right.
Turns out to be his name, and
So in each apocalyptic account it's not written at a time where they're doing good. No one writes apocalyptic literature when life is going great. They write it when shit sucks. When they're in trouble, when they're persecuted. They write as a way to comfort them and their people, like, hey, this sucks now, but don't worry, we're gonna win in the end. Wait just a little bit longer. Like, Paul says this in multiple letters. Like, wait just a little bit longer, you guys. Jesus is coming back soon. I promise.
Yeah.
Wait just a little bit longer. So, I don't think it was a way to say they're going to rule over the rich, although maybe kind of in a way, because it was the rich and powerful that were oppressing them, and they were like, and in the end, we're going to win. Kind of like Christians say today. Like, just today, I had a Christian say, I know who wins in the end. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. Like, okay, cool. Shut up.
That's not free will, first off.
Yeah. I thought we had free will.
I ain't gonna bow.
What if Jesus tells me to kneel and I say fuck off?
Yeah, what's gonna happen?
Are my knees gonna buckle under me unexpectedly? Well,
then explode is what's gonna happen. Oh, Jesus. Such a great guy.
I have not even been paying attention to the comments. Sorry,
No,
guys.
There's a lot over here.
If there's any questions popping up, I'm not seeing them.
I have not seen any.
Yeah. Hey, Titan, dragons.
Oh,
Riley.
Dragons and Genesis. What's up?
Yeah. Cat in the house. Hi.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I keep forgetting to read the chats. Trats.
Yeah.
That's a word.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've
man,
had the
Dragons and
conversation
Genesis.
going pretty nonstop, so.
I bet you Dragons and Genesis got a lot to say about heaven. What do you got to say about heaven, Dragons?
Yeah, come on. What do you got? He's gonna like
Great show.
paste. He's gonna paste something from his Google Docs. It's like 9 pages long.
Yeah, you want to know an expert on Enoch, man? That guy.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Jason is awesome. Nice job, Jason. Great show, by the way. So yeah, heaven. Holy cow. Yeah. So the 44,000 thing that's in Revelation is that how many people are going to be in heaven?
No, that's how many martyrs. Or that's how many people have to be martyred before the rest of the apocalypse can happen. If you read that verse, so the martyr, there's people who are martyred. They go up and they see an angel in heaven. An angel in heaven says, "We have to wait for 144,000 of you to bear the mark of the witness," or something like that. Anyway, it's a martyred language. It's supposed to be 12,000 tribes from each, or 12,000 from each tribe is supposed to be martyred. Now in the next verse, I think it is, or the next two verses, they describe a multitude or no, a host of people as far as the eye can see, all clothed in white, who are not martyrs. So those are people that are in heaven as well. But the ones that are martyred, it kind of suggests that they're kept there temporarily until the rest of the people can be martyred, and they'll receive some sort of special treatment. I think they receive like new clothes and shit,
a robe.
A new robe.
Great job, everybody! Here's your robe.
So here's a robe. Just try to warm up a little bit. Stay safe.
Are there harps in heaven? I was told there were harps in heaven. As a matter of fact, there are some harps in heaven. Those creatures, and their 24 elders will fall down and sit in the throat and worship whoever's there. Somewhere in there it talks about harps. Help me out here. Where's it say?
Sure.
There was somewhere where I was reading the throne of Yahweh. Is that it? I don't know. But there are harps in heaven. There's people going to be playing harps. I think it's one of those 24 elders or something.
I'm having a hard time remembering.
Me too.
I know,
have it all pulled up.
King David played the harp and he soothed demons that were tormenting Saul.
Yeah, but then Saul threw a spear at him.
Yeah.
Well, that was God that did that. God sent a spirit down.
Yeah, God sent evil spirits to torment him, and David soothed them with a harp.
Oh,
and they went away. Like the spirits of God, the evil spirits of God went away because David played the harp.
Yeah, the evil spirits of God. I love that. That's such a great phrase.
Heaven is full of liars. God damn it, Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah. Are animals mentioned about going to heaven? After all, they are the most innocent of all, says Cat.
That's a great question. There's nothing in the text that really suggests yes or no. It's just something that's not addressed. So like any assertion is pure speculation.
How can it be the happiest place off earth if there's no dogs in heaven?
I agree. They're cats.
It's a shit place.
Or squirrels.
And they have harps.
If
do babies get to grow up in heaven? No squirrels. Are they just babbling in heaven? Yeah, it's a good point. The babies that die, like let's just say the ones in the flood, the Christians seem to think they go to heaven. Mm-hmm. Are they talking? I mean, do they get to grow up? How's that work? And the same way with the old people. When they die, do they get a younger body? Like how old?
They do get a new body. That's indicated in Paul's writings.
Was it like a teenage body? Like what do they do?
I guess it's like I think it's supposed to be like when you're at your prime. But I know in the Apocalypse of Peter, it's another 2nd century apocalyptic literature. One of the punishments in hell is women who have gotten abortions They have to stand neck deep in like bubbling shit. And
fun.
then the babies that they aborted are going to appear like randomly and shoot fire into their eyes. It's a pretty creative book. It's where Dante got a lot of his inspiration.
Oh, I love it.
But those angels, when they're not shooting, or those babies, when they're not shooting fire into their mother's eyes, they're being cared for by angels and nurtured so that they can grow up. So yeah, I'm trying to think of like other examples in other literature where dead babies grow up. That's the only thing I can come up with.
That's quite amazing, though.
Yeah,
man,
that's an interesting one. We'll definitely get more into that because next week is a lot of our modern understanding of hell comes from that book.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What was that book title again?
The Apocalypse of Peter.
Oh yeah. Apocalypse of Peter. Yeah. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Paradise. Oh, here we go. Zoroastrian. Okay, slow down. Paradise came from Zoroastrian. There's a word. I can't do that one.
Zoroastrianism, yeah.
Thank you. It's literally a Persian word. That's where the Jews got the whole segregated afterlife thing. Interesting. Zoroastrian. So I can't do that word. That Zora word. Those people.
Zoroastrianism.
Do you know anything about their heaven?
I don't. I've heard it's described pretty in detail. That's not something it's outside of my area. I haven't read up on Zoroastrianism very much.
Same.
I'd love to learn about it, though. I should.
Dragons. Enoch's heaven is all crystal and glowing stones and fire and darkness and lightning. It's absolutely horrifying. Man. Yeah, no. Enoch, man. Such a fun stuff. Dragons and Genesis does a great job of breaking all that down for sure. Thanks, Jason.
Sorry, there's people lightsaber fighting outside of my house.
Whoa! Oh man, how do you restrain yourself from going out there?
I'm having a hard time. There's a window right over here, and I look in to see there's a red one, a green one, and a white one. These kids just fighting with lightsabers. Amazing. So I got very like, what the fuck is going on over there? Okay.
Yeah, I got live LARPing outside your window there.
Yeah, right.
Holy cow! Speaking of LARPing, that's what Christians do with their faith. That's all that is. Just pretending it's real.
Yeah, that's what anyway, we'll go there. That's what conservatives do about the military. Anyway.
Oh no.
People never served like to dress up in military camouflage and act like they're about to go to war with the United States. They're LARPing.
Yes.
They're LARPing too.
Yeah, well, let's hope they keep just LARPing off in the distance there and they don't actually act too much on that. Crazy people. So children going to heaven. Oh, can we see people in hell? Like, because heaven's supposed to be a happy place. Can we see people in hell? What is that?
That's a good question. Yeah, there you go. Luke 16.
Luke 16. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
The Parable of Lazarus. I'm trying to remember. He was being tormented. In some places it was very hot. This account is a parable, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying Jesus isn't saying that this is literally happening, or this literally happens. It's a parable.
Same with the goats and the sheep too.
Right.
Separating them. And
the point of the parable is this guy was rich, and he was not charitable with his wealth. He hoarded it. So he was, and he denied like his family any help. So in the afterlife, he was being punished and they were being rewarded. So that message doesn't have anything to do with salvation. Christians usually talk about salvation. It doesn't have anything to do with salvation. It has everything to do with saying this guy was a dick when he was on earth with helping the poor. But now in the afterlife, he's the one who's hurting, and his family members that he oppressed, they're the ones being rewarded, or they're the ones living a good life now. So I think it's his brother that's in, and it's called Abraham's bosom. It's not called heaven. Abraham's bosom or Abraham's chest. Funny thing about that, I imagine so. He's Jewish. They tend to be hairy, I think. I don't know if that's a stereotype. I apologize.
I don't know. But he's probably a hairy man.
Probably a hairy man.
Yeah.
A Jewish guy in the Middle East. He's probably had some hair on his chest. I think it's fair to say. The funny thing about Abraham's bosom, there's no reference to it as far as we can tell in anywhere else. Like, we don't really know what the author is referring to when he talks about Abraham's bosom, because there nowhere else is this term really used.
Interesting.
In any other literature. So, so Lazarus is being punished, and he's saying, it's so hot. Can you dip your finger in water and at least just touch my tongue?
Yeah.
With your wet finger.
Hope you watched it.
Sounds weird. Yeah. And they're like, no, I can't do that. So not only can they, in this parable, can they see him, they can touch him. Or so it's weird, because there's also like a chasm, like a huge chasm between them.
Yeah.
So it's like, if there's a chasm, that's how is he able to reach over and touch him? I don't know. It's weird.
Go gadget arms.
Yeah, there we go.
That's how it works.
Was it Mr. Fantastic?
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Never sad. Yeah, Revelation 21:4, you'll never be sad. Well, you know if your family's burning in heaven, and that's kind of what that tells us, is we're able to see and then stretch out our arms and touch them, even if you wanted to. That's kind of what that's telling us there, is that's able to happen. So how are we the same people? For instance, my mom and grandma, if they're up in heaven watching me burn in hell, they're not going to be ecstatic about that.
Yeah, imagine. And similarly, if there's certain people that if I see them in heaven, I'm going to be mad that they're there. Why the fuck are you here?
How did you get there? Well, I mean, it's not a great place anyways. I don't know what's worse, heaven or hell. That's a good question too. What is worse? Skeptic Haven, Aaron here says, question, if you had to design heaven, what would your heaven look like?
Ooh, that's a good question. There'd be lots of cats. Yeah.
Bedtime for the kids would start at 6.
Yep. All right. No, they'll all be grown and out of the house or out of the mansion or out of the room or whatever. I won't be taking care of them anymore.
Yeah, out of the mansion, out of the room. They're in room 202.
It'd be black and red, because those are the colors. So heaven would be black and red and very spooky looking. There you go.
No gold.
No gold. I don't like gold.
God, there are no streets of gold. What would the streets be made out of? What would you want your streets made out of?
Opal.
Opal.
No,
oh, that's nice.
Isn't that the white one with like the rainbow shimmery?
Yeah, but it's not. No.
But it would be a road. That's like the.
I like that. Mother of Pearl.
Yes, Mother of Pearl. Yes,
that's the That's not a bad one. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I just make them rivers.
Cool looking streets, right?
Rivers of beer.
Rivers of beer. Yep. Instead of milk.
Yeah.
Rivers of beer. I'd have another like river of Pepsi.
Ooh.
Or I'd have rivers of beer and fountains of Pepsi, because I like Pepsi a lot.
Oh, that'd be great. Or water fountains that just have like different things. Mountain Dew Blast.
Yeah. Like it's one of those fountains that splits off in like 20 different directions and does like fun dances, but each one is a different drink.
It's the best. And it's not sticky when it gets all over you.
Yeah. I feel like having sweet tea today. Let's go over to this little stream.
See? It's just like a suicide machine that's constantly ready for whatever you want. That's a good heaven. Yeah. And dogs and cats, for sure. Willy Wonka, yes. Willy Wonka, like Willy Wonka's. That'd be, man, minus the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, everything's edible.
Everything's
even I'm edible. That's
even the dog. Eat the dog.
Even the dog is edible.
It tastes like
every bite you take out of him will just regenerate. So it's fine.
Man, our heaven would be bizarre.
I'm describing a casino.
Casinos are too dark.
I don't know about a casino though. There's too much noise, too many lights, too many things happening at once, and I don't like to gamble. So.
Well, you can never find the exit, so it's kind of like heaven, I guess. You can't find the exit.
That's true. Or an IKEA.
Good luck.
Never find the exit there either.
No way, man! I've never been more lost in a store than an IKEA. That's for sure.
Yep.
Man, I don't know how anybody finds anything in those stores.
Every time I go there, they have those arrows on the floor that like guide you through. Every time I'm there, I want to like switch the arrows around, like if they were magnetic or something, just pick them up and like turn them around, point in directions, just fuck with everybody.
Or just paint the arrow one in each direction so they have no idea which way to go.
Yeah,
it's great. IKEA.
Man.
Anyway, IKEA has 2 portals for doors. It's an infinite loop, says Windershins. Windershins?
I just say Wiener Schnitzel.
There you go, Wiener Schnitzel. Oh God, don't eat that unless you've got like extra time for bathroom breaks. Holy cow! Is there Wiener Schnitzel in heaven? Probably not.
Yeah. I think it depends. Whatever is your favorite food, or would there even be like in heaven if you have this new like perfect body? Are there things you don't like anymore? Like, are there things that taste bad? Is there bad tasting food in heaven to you?
Since you don't need to eat, I mean, what's the point? Would they even?
Like,
would you even have taste buds?
Yeah, who knows? Like, you'd never catch me taking a bite out of an onion like it's an apple. But in heaven, could you do it? Would it be delicious? Well, it's not in there. Nah, bro.
I want this onion to taste like a Granny Smith.
Try this onion. I don't like onions. No, dude. Onions taste like Oreos.
You'll love this onion.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
Yeah. See, the original garden had all that fruit and animals and whatnot. Why wouldn't heaven be the same?
For it. Somehow it was just given to him, but that was part of the punishment for the fall, or for them eating the fruit. Is now you have to work for it.
Now you have to work for it.
You have to toil and labor the land in order to eat. So you didn't have to do that before. It was just given to you.
Well, how fucked up is that anyways? We're going to make a tree out of fruit, stuff you're eating everywhere, and I'm going to tell you not to eat it. Why didn't he make the tree out of dung or something? You know, like something they wouldn't want. Why? Because he knew.
Delicious fruit.
Yeah. Oh, heaven. What else would you have in your heaven?
I don't know. What do I like to do? Spaghetti. I like spaghetti. A lot of spaghetti.
I like I know that whole wheat spaghetti. Rum. Definitely lots of rum. Gotta have rum in heaven. It's not worth it.
Oh, yeah. A big library.
Yeah. Oh, big library. Lots. I could read like Johnny Five.
Yeah.
More input. More input. Give me more input.
That would just be my heaven. Just a giant, like, old, creepy.
That'd be cool.
Library. Yeah.
It's got to have one of those ladders with the wheels on it, though.
Yeah, that's
otherwise it's not worth it.
You can just climb and then just.
And there's my book.
Or I would have a roller coaster like go through my library. And then as I'm like going like, oh, just reach and grab a book and like, I'm reading this one.
There you go.
That's how I choose what I'm reading that night.
That's a great idea.
My roller coaster library.
Is there evil in heaven? Wes says yes, there is, apparently, according to scripture.
We talked about
Christians don't believe there's evil in heaven, though. Have you ever confronted a Christian with that?
I don't think I have really confronted a Christian. I probably have. I've had so many conversations. I probably have at some point. I remember when I was a Christian in church, we'd always have this like issue about, like we were talking about earlier, the devil chose to betray God, right? How that's evil in God's eyes. So you can do evil in heaven? So
and get expelled.
Like, how does that work? So like, free will in heaven.
That never came up as a kid. It's so funny. I never really thought about that one.
So much that doesn't come up as a kid in church. They only tell you the flowery parts.
Yeah. I tell you though, my first issue was definitely Noah's Ark. I definitely asked about that one. That was weird to me. Like, why did everybody have to die?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I was pretty flexible with my understanding of the Bible. Like I had no problem saying certain things were allegorical, even before I knew they were allegorical, because I followed the science. So it was like I never thought the Earth was 6,000 years old. Noah's Ark, I recognized pretty early on, was allegorical. Even like the Exodus, like towards the end of my deconstruction, I think I was still struggling with that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one
because historically it didn't happen. Maybe there was a very tiny Exodus from a different place at a different time,
right?
But it wasn't what was described in the Exodus at all.
Not even remotely. No. Dragon says, Wes says, can you die in heaven? Good question. You can get cast out apparently, but can you die?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything that suggests you can, even in like extra biblical literature.
Well, I'm sure I've heard a Christian somewhere say that Satan died spiritually when he was cast out of.
Oh yeah, yeah. They took the Holy Spirit from him.
Yeah. That's why he's so mad.
Even though Satan was completely subservient to God and had to ask God for permission to do anything. Which that's another point I brought up, because like in Job, so the book of Job is the devil basically saying, God, hey, there's this guy, or no, God is saying to Satan, check out my servant Job. He's the shit. All right. He's fucking tits. All right. You're not going to be able to touch him. And Satan
have
goes
some
like,
powers. Do whatever you want.
Satan goes, I bet I can get him to curse you, but you have to let me do this to him. So God says, okay, you can do this to him, but you can't like hurt his flesh. You can't kill his family. You can't do this. I was like, okay. So it goes and torments him for a while, still doesn't curse God. God goes, see, I told you. And the devil says, no, okay, well, let me hurt his flesh now. Let me give him a disease. And God says, all right, give him a disease. So everything Satan does, he does with God's permission. God gives Satan permission to do evil.
He even uses the fire from heaven to do half of it. So he gives him powers. Like, here, use my power. Like, what an asshole. And he knew. He knew all along that this wouldn't work. What a dick move.
And God sent the angel of death to kill the firstborn in Egypt, the 10th plague.
Yeah.
Like, that was some evil shit that came from heaven.
Yeah.
God sent an evil spirit from heaven to go kill all these babies because they were Egyptian.
You even have lying spirits coming from heaven. That's not very nice.
And Pharaoh was being mean only because God hardened his heart. So it's like, it doesn't even look like there's free will here on earth. How are you going to tell me there's free will in heaven?
No, it's one of my favorite questions to ask Christians is, do you think there's free will? And where do you get that idea? Because nowhere in the Bible does it say we all get free will. Wes says, Mormons have 3 heavens in there. Is there anything in the Bible that agrees or disagrees with that?
Oh, yeah. Kinda. Paul does mention, I think his followers ask him, because again, they're waiting for Jesus to return, and they keep saying it's going to happen soon. So his followers go up to Paul and say, what about those of us who have already died? Like, what's going to happen to them? Because Jesus is supposed to return and take us all to heaven, but some of our followers are already dying. What's going to happen to them? So I think Paul says when Jesus comes back, he's going to take them up first. And I think that's where he says he's going to put them in like the 3rd heaven or something like that. There's a reference to the 3rd heaven somewhere. I can't remember if that's it or not.
I don't remember what verse that is. Yeah. Very interesting.
Somewhere.
Hope somebody's got that verse coming up here.
Which one?
Anybody got that verse? Anybody?
Let's see.
That's okay. Somebody will come up with it. No, that's good stuff though. Yeah. That goes into the whole second coming as well.
2 Corinthians. Yeah, 2 Corinthians 12, 1 through 4.
Nice job.
2 Corinthians 12. Hang on. Let me pull that up real quick. 2 Corinthians.
Grab that awesome Bible of yours.
12. God damn it. Just had you.
Blood faster to Bible Gateway it.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. 2 Corinthians 12, 1 through 4. Boasting is necessary, though it is not profitable, but I will go on to visions and revelations of the Lord. I know a man in Christ. There it is. I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago, whether in the body I do not know, or out of the body I do not know, God knows, such a man was caught up to the 3rd heaven.
Yeah.
No elaboration on what the fuck that meant. Just I knew this guy 14. I knew this guy 14 years ago. He's in the 3rd heaven now.
Yeah.
Like, just gonna leave you hanging there. Not gonna explain the fuck you just said at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in third heaven now. Deal with it.
Man. What happened to the first and second one? Is there a fourth one coming?
Yeah. How do you get to? Is it like a? Do you have to work for it? You know, like when you get to like the third heaven, do you have to work to? Speaking of cats, what are you doing?
Is there a punch card somewhere? You got. Oh my God! Watch out! That's feline.
Go somewhere.
He's gonna attack you. Oh God!
What do
Oh,
you
he's
want?
attacking your shoulder. You're gonna get cat scratch fever now.
Attention. You can't stay here. I'm doing something.
What's the cat's name?
This is Rex. There you go.
Rex. Love it.
Yeah, this is zoomy time, so
Yeah. My
it's
dog's
gonna
out
be
there
extra for a little while.
chasing the kids around right now.
Anyway.
What kind of music is playing in your heaven?
Oh,
Hmm.
that is a good question. Linkin Park,
I
Slayer.
like your heaven. Sounds better.
Do you like Linkin Park? It's a nostalgia thing for me.
Yeah, I
Slayer, Metallica,
yeah.
Motley Crue. Yeah, I don't know. Iron Maiden.
There you go. I get this. Do you have Apple Music? Because man, the playlist that I have created on there, that would be my heaven music. Just none of that. Just constantly that.
Yeah.
That'd be
I got a Spotify.
tons of stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's all over the place. My Spotify's fucking. You would think I'm a crazy person who saw it.
Same.
I've got like Taylor Swift and like Toby Keith.
Oh God.
Fucking Slayer.
There you go.
And then there's like a techno song thrown in the middle. And yeah, it's all over the goddamn place.
Oh,
I just like music. I don't really have a certain kind. I listen to hard rock more than anything.
Little here, little there. Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, Debussy to Slayer, man. That's my playlist. You never know what's going to pop up. Some piano music or some hardcore or some weird punk rock. God, love it. So much fun.
Devil plays a violin.
How do we get to heaven? Works, or faith, or
damn.
both. Now that is a question. How do we get to heaven? Works or faith or both? And what does the Bible say?
So what I would say is, Jesus said, "Without faith or without works, faith is dead." The way I always interpreted that is, you cannot have faith and not want to do works. Like having faith will make you want to do works, right? And by works, I mean like being charitable to the poor and things like that. So like if the idea is if you have faith, because all right, so when Jesus said to sell all your possessions, give them to the poor, say goodbye to your family, do all this stuff, this is because they believed that the end of the world was coming very soon. So they were doing all these things in preparation for that day. Paul even tells people, don't get married, don't start a new business, because this shit's coming soon. What you should be doing now is preparing for that day. So spend time in meditation, give away all your possessions, bless other people, because that's going to be rewarded to you in heaven. So in other words, if you have this faith but you're not acting on it, like the rich young ruler asked him, how do I get to heaven? Jesus says, obey all my commandments. And he says, I've done all these, what else can I do? And Jesus says, sell all your possessions. And he didn't. He said he walked away sad because he was very wealthy. He refused to give away any of his possessions. So he did not have works. Thus, he did not really have faith. He was more worried about what was going to happen to him on earth than what was going to happen to him at the day of judgment. So he didn't really have faith. So he was unwilling to do the works. So I would say faith is not required, but it's directly attached to, or works is not required, but it's directly attached to faith. Works is evidence of your faith.
Works are evidence of your faith. Yeah.
That's the way
that
I
makes
put
sense.
it. That's the Christian answer.
Yeah. Well, the Bible, man, it's all over the place with that one.
It is. That's one of the reasons,
just like most topics.
Yeah, like Paul, and two of Paul's letters, they seem to say two different things on the topic, and that's one of the reasons scholars have noticed or started thinking. It's a long time ago, not really just started, but started knowing that Paul didn't write all of those letters.
Hmm.
Some other people did. It was pseudo Pauline. They wrote it in
Forgeries.
his name because there's these contradicting ideas. And one place Paul says it's by faith, and another place he says it's by works. And one place Paul says women can't be in leadership positions. In another place he says women can be apostles.
Yeah.
So it's like there's these conflicting ideas. So like some of these weren't written by Paul.
That's why you can't take the Bible seriously. Completely contradictory. The entire damn book. Every topic contradicts itself one way or another in the book. It's ridiculous.
Very true.
Oh man. Awesome sauce. Any more questions? We got another one here. Sorry. Nope. Nickelback. Oh no, someone mentioned Nickelback. That's next week. Hell.
I don't mind Nickelback. I'm not one of those people that hates Nickelback. I don't have any of their songs on my playlist. But like if it comes on the radio, I'm not mad about it.
Nah.
I'm not going to change the station.
Like the B side of Nickelback. Oh no.
In hell is the B side.
Oh yeah, no, I mean to his own.
They play Nickelback in the third heaven.
Oh God. Oh,
so that's why you have to work to get out of the third heaven. You got to log in a certain number of hours of listening to Nickelback, in order to get promoted to the second heaven.
Terrible. I don't want to go to any of those heavens. Oh my God. Well, we're closing up here. Thank you so much, Captain Dadpool. Tell us where we can find your stuff before we exit out of here today.
Probably everybody knows me from TikTok. I also have a YouTube channel called Nerds and Heresy. Should have some interesting guests coming up here soon. Send out some fun emails. I'm hoping to get some responses back. So stay tuned. But yeah, that's other than that. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. On Facebook. I'm more active in some places than others, but I have a Discord and I never touch, but there's a million people in it. So
yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to stay active. Well,
yeah,
all the stuff that's out there and whatnot. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for everybody in the chat. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next week for hell.